I once had this friend, we'll call him Ethan. Ethan first noticed that his anxiety wasn't loud, it didn't scream, it negotiated. It showed up in small sentences that sounded reasonable, like, you should probably check that again. Or, just make sure you didn't say anything wrong. Or, wait, think about it one more time before you respond. And at first in high school, he thought that was just being responsible. The kind of person who cares, the kind of person who thinks things through. But anxiety doesn't announce itself as a problem, it introduces itself as preparation, almost as if it's disguised. It started one morning in a place that should have been normal. Ethan was standing in his kitchen, holding a glass of water, ready to leave for the day, to get out for school. Nothing crazy. Nothing important had happened, no crisis, no conflict, everything was fine. But then his heart was already acting like something was wrong. He checked his bag, once, twice, and then again. Laptop, phone, wallet, keys, all there. But his brain didn't stop. Because anxiety doesn't ask, is it there? It asks, are you sure you didn't miss something? And that question never has an answer that feels final. So he checked again, and that's the trick with anxiety. By the time that he left his apartment, he was already late. Not because anything went wrong, but because he never felt finished. On the bus, he sat by the window and tried to breathe normally, but his mind kept scanning invisible threats. Did I lock the door properly? What if I didn't? What if someone breaks in? What if I come back and everything's gone? It's my fault, everyone's going to hate me, and my life's going to be over. And then he pulled out his phone, opened the lock app, checked, locked, closed the phone. 5 seconds passed, and then his mind said, but did you really check that app properly? He didn't get off the bus, but something in him had already left the present. At school, Ethan became very good at something he didn't notice. He became good at looking okay. He would nod at conversations while replaying his last sentence in his head. He would laugh at jokes while analyzing whether his laugh sounded normal. He would sit in class, take notes while simultaneously tracking every small bodily sensation like it might turn into a problem. Heartbeat slightly faster? Why? Hands a bit sweaty? Why? Am I having a heart attack? Did someone look at him weird? Why? His life wasn't falling apart on the outside. It was fragmenting in the background, quietly, but constantly. One day, his professor asked a simple question in class. Nothing complicated, just a discussion, normal type of question. And Ethan knew the answer. He knew the answer. And he could feel it sitting clearly in his mind. But the moment the professor paused and looked around the room, something shifted. Because now the answer wasn't just an answer, it was a risk. What if I say it wrong? What if I misunderstood the question? What if I sound so stupid in front of everyone, no one's ever going to like me and I'm going to die alone? His mind started building futures faster than he could stay present. So he did what he always did. He waited for certainty. But certainty didn't come fast enough. Someone else raised their hand, answered, and class moved on. And Ethan sat there feeling something strange. Not regret, exactly, more like disappearance. Like a version of him had tried to step forward, but he got pulled back, before anyone even noticed. That night, he went home early. Not because anything happened, because everything felt like too much. Too much without a clear reason. He sat on his bed fully dressed, again, phone in hand, scrolling, but not really seeing anything. Then his chest tightened, his breathing got shallow, and it came without warning. A sudden sharp awareness of his heartbeat. Too fast. Why is it so fast? He sat up, checked his pulse, and that made it worse, because now his attention was locked onto it. And anxiety, once noticed, doesn't shrink. It amplifies. You can't keep feeding onto it. His mind filled the gaps instantly with, what if this is something serious? What if I'm ignoring symptoms? What if I waited too long? What's happening to me? He stood up, started pacing, and then sat down. Then he stood again. Every position felt wrong. He could sit, he could stand, he could lie down. Every position was wrong. Not dangerous, but not safe enough. He opened his phone and searched symptoms. Bad idea. But anxiety doesn't care about bad ideas, it cares about temporary relief. He read one line, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then stopped breathing properly without even realizing it. His brain started connecting the dots that didn't belong together. Heart rate, stress, dizziness, fatigue. Everything became evidence. Everything became confirmation. Until finally he was no longer thinking about anxiety, he was fully inside of it. An hour later, one of his family members comes into the room, saw him sitting on the floor, and said, "Hey, what's going on?" Ethan tried to answer normally, but his voice didn't come out the way he expected it. That made it worse, because now even speaking felt unreliable. I think something's wrong," he said. His family member looked at him carefully. "Look at me." Ethan did. "Are you in pain?" "No." "Can you breathe?" "Yes, I think." "Okay, stay with me." But the word think stuck in Ethan's mind, because that was the problem. He couldn't stop thinking. They sat there for a while, not fixing anything, just waiting for the intensity to pass, and slowly it did. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just gradually losing its grip like a hand unclenching. Ethan's breathing steadied. Without him forcing it, his heartbeat stopped feeling like a warning signal and started feeling like something normal again. And that was when something clicked in him. Not a solution, but a realization. He hadn't been in danger, but he had fully experienced danger. The next morning he woke up dead exhausted, not from lack of sleep, but from internal noise. His family was in the kitchen. He asked, "Are you good?" He asked casually. Ethan hesitated. That hesitation used to mean "I'm not sure." Now it means something else. It meant he was checking if the answer was safe to say. "I think so," he said. Then he stopped himself, then corrected it. "I am." There was no pause, no judgment, just presence. That day something different happened. Ethan still had anxious thoughts. They didn't disappear, but something subtle changed in how he related to them. When a thought said, "What if something goes wrong?" he noticed he didn't immediately chase it anymore. He let it sit there longer without feeding it. And then he realized something strange. Not every thought was a warning. Some were just noise wearing the costume of importance. Later that week, he was walking to class when his anxiety did its usual thing. It started scanning, heartbeat, weather, time, people around him, just everything around him. And for a moment, he almost went with it again, almost spiraled, but this time, something interrupted the pattern. He said quietly in his own head, "I hear you." Not arguing, not obeying, just acknowledging it's there. And then he kept walking. Nothing dramatic changed after that, no perfect recovery, no permanent silence in his mind. Anxiety still showed up, still offering predictions, still tried to pull him into futures that didn't exist yet, but Ethan started noticing something new. Every time he didn't fully follow it, the world didn't collapse, it didn't end. Every time he stayed present instead of chasing every thought, life continued anyways. And slowly something shifted, not in the absence of anxiety, but in its authority. It stopped being the voice that led and became just another voice in the room.